Creed 2 is directed by Steven Caple Jr. and stars Michael B. Jordan and Sylvester Stallone, and I'm very excited to give you guys my review for this movie. If you've seen it, be sure to leave a comment what you thought about it. As well, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get into this review. In this movie, newly crowned heavyweight champion Adonis Creed faces off against Viktor Drago, the son of Ivan Drago. So after rewatching this movie, I felt like Creed 2 had a bit of the opposite effect that the first Creed movie had on me, where on rewatch that movie got even better. For me, Creed 2 kind of took a step down on rewatch, and it's a big step down from the first Creed movie for me. I still like it. It's a thumbs up movie for me. But overall, it's just not quite as good as the first Creed movie. I do think this movie does a lot of things right, but there's just some parts of this movie that just felt lacking, and they were kind of important to me, but I'll get into those shortly. But to start off with the positives for this movie, for me, I think one of the big positives was the antagonists for this movie, Ivan Drago and Viktor Drago. I think for Creed 2, I think the one thing it does better than the first Creed movie is its antagonists, where they're not as disposable as the antagonists in the first Creed movie. These two, there's a history there. Ivan Drago was the antagonist in Rocky IV, and he killed Apollo Creed in the ring, and Adonis is Apollo Creed's son. So there's history there, and they do a good job of fleshing out those characters, especially Ivan Drago, because in Rocky IV, he was kind of cartoonish. There's like no layers to that character at all. In this one, there are layers to him and his son Viktor Drago. I like the dynamic they set up there, where you sort of get a sense of what's happened to them since the events of Rocky IV. Things haven't been great for them. He's been training his son to be a fighter and to sort of beat Creed and sort of, I guess, win respect back in his country. And you see also from his loss, he lost his wife, and Viktor feels that he doesn't have his mom. So they do some stuff there that is quite good. It adds layers to those characters. You understand them, you get why they're doing what they're doing, and you feel for them. So I think that was really good. This movie also continues the relationship between Adonis and Bianca, and they get engaged and married in this movie, and they have a child. That was really good. I liked that storyline, sort of built that relationship more, and it worked very well. The performances were great, and it continued the dynamic between Adonis and Rocky, which was, again, pretty good. Great performances again. They do some more stuff with Rocky 2, sort of hinting at his relationship with his son, that it's been estranged, and they sort of have a nice payoff to that at the end of this movie. So that was good. There's some fun training montages as usual in this, and all the fight choreography was really good. This movie was this time directed by Steven Caple Jr., as I said at the start of this video, and I thought he did a really good job taking on this director role from Ryan Coogler. I thought he did a really good job. The movie looked really good. Like I said, all the actual fight scenes I thought were done very well. I liked how the opening fight scene, Adonis fights a character that you saw in the first Creed movie. I can't remember his name, but they had a bit of a fight earlier on in the movie where Adonis is like, yeah, if you beat me, you get my car, whatever car it was. And so they have that character back. He was at that time now the heavyweight champion. So they have their fight, and Adonis becomes the new heavyweight champion. So that was cool. I sort of just like how they used that character again. And this movie has all the traditional things you expect from a Rocky or a Creed movie. It's got the good fight scenes, and it's got the fun training montages and the cool music going on. It has all that, and I think for me, my issues with this movie that sort of hold it down from being a great movie and just keeping it as a good movie is that it feels more formulaic than the previous Creed movie. It was more by the numbers, where they were setting up things and like, oh yeah, this is what's going to happen. Like they set up Adonis and Viktor have a fight earlier on the movie, and you're like, okay, well, this is obviously not going to be the last fight. Adonis is probably going to lose. He does. Then he has a big training thing happening. Then they have their final fight, and Adonis is going to win, obviously. So it was more formulaic, which the first Creed movie did at times sort of rely on that Rocky formula, but it did stuff different as well. And I think what it had going for it is just newer things in this franchise, like having Adonis as the lead new character that the movie was getting us introduced to, and seeing Rocky in that mentor role, which we had seen before in Rocky 5, but that wasn't a great movie. It was done much better in this one, and Rocky was in a different stage of his life, so it felt different, it felt fresh. This movie, it's been done now, and there are still some nice moments between Rocky and Adonis, but I just found that like freshness was just gone. It didn't have the same heart to it. It didn't have as many memorable moments, where it was more easier for me in this movie to find myself just zoning out of the movie, where I was always engaged in that first Creed movie. So I think that holds this movie down. It's more formulaic and doesn't add too much new to the franchise. It does a lot of stuff that it does it well, but it's been done before. And even in the previous Creeds, like, okay, we got more of Rocky and Adonis together, Rocky training Adonis, that's great, but it's been done before, and it didn't really do anything different, like different training styles, I guess, to fight Victor, but it just didn't feel as engaging to me. So that was what held this movie down a fair bit for me. Like, it did a lot of other things very well, like what they did with Victor and Ivan. I thought that was great for me. That was the one part of this movie that was better than the original Creed movie. And the relationship between Adonis and Bianca, and they do have a nice sort of conflict between Adonis and Rocky at the start of this movie, and you can understand why Rocky's not wanting Adonis to take on Victor. It made sense, so I like that. That was a nice sort of conflict they had there. So this movie does do a lot of things right. I just found that heart from the first Creed movie was just lacking, unfortunately, so it held this movie down for me. That is not really a great movie for me. It's a good movie. I watch it and have fun. It's just not as good as the first Creed, and a little bit more forgettable because it is more formulaic. Doesn't stand out as much, other than bringing back other legacy characters from this franchise, making them better. Like, Ivan Drago's a better character in this movie. But other than that, it doesn't do a whole lot for me, like new. But it's fun. As just a boxing fighting movie, it's fun. So for me, overall, Creed 2 is a good movie, a good solid film in this franchise, but a step down from the first Creed movie. For me, I would give Creed 2 a 72%. So guys, those are my thoughts on Creed 2. If you've seen it, be sure to let me know what you thought about it. As well, be sure to stay tuned for some more reviews coming shortly. I will have my review out for Creed 3 very soon, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And until my next video, take care everybody.